All right, so right now I am heading over from Jersey, just grabbed the charge, going over to Springfield, just outside of Philadelphia, to grab a quick bite to eat. And what do you know, I got another software update on my car today. Actually, it was a software update that brought me to 12.6.3, even though I was already on 12.6.3. So if you look at the information here, and you go to release notes, you'll see that we're on 12.6.3, and oddly enough, I was already on that version of full self-driving, so I don't understand why sometimes you'll get these repetitive updates on your car, but here we are on this first drive of the new version of 12.6.3. We've got a good amount of highway driving, we've got a little bit of back road driving, we've got some interchange work as well. Right now we're going over the Walt Whitman Bridge. I'll go ahead and hide that down here, but you kind of see our route over here in the top right corner. We're going to kind of do a loop off of the Walt Whitman Bridge, jump onto 95 down, take 476 up, and then get off to go to the spot that we're grabbing lunch at. Now up here, we have a toll, and I am very interested to see how the car does reacting to the toll. Now, with a lot of these tolling booths recently, they have like an express lane, right, where it just jumps into that lane. You pretty much continue on the same speed. You go through, no problem at all. But here in Philadelphia, some of these older tolls still have the single lanes with the arm that goes up. It's going to bring us over into the right-hand lane because we are going to have to exit right here. But going through these tolls is like such a stressful situation when using full self-driving. There's like a 90% chance that I'm going to have to take over the vehicle because the car might go through the wrong lane. The car might try to take me through a cash lane when I have Easy Pass. The car might not know which lane to go through. It might come to a complete stop. I've actually had some pretty cool times where the car has gone through a tolling lane, no problem at all. But again, it's kind of a 50-50 shot here, and we'll see how it handles. Also, I'm using my Apple Watch again as a microphone. Usually I have a much better microphone, but this is kind of an impromptu video, so I figured I would just do the recording on the Apple Watch. My previous video on the Apple Watch Ultra as my microphone didn't do too bad. The sound quality was actually pretty good. So here, as we come up to the tolling booths, okay, it's got the turn signal on. It's going to the right. It's going to put us through this Easy Pass lane. Nice and slow. It's going to come to almost a complete stop. Slow down to go through. Wow. Wait. That was really, really good. I'm a little bit speechless. Usually the car jerks. Usually the car doesn't know where to go. But that was the smoothest toll interaction I have ever had using full self-driving. That was great. Like, it could have just continued to drive straight to go through the congested cash lane, but it took me around to the right and through the Easy Pass lane, slowed down nicely. Wow, that was really good. Yeah, look at this guy. I don't blame you for slamming on the brakes. I would have just skirted around him and kept driving, but now there are some absolutely insane potholes up here. I have said it in the past in my videos. I don't put it past myself to grab the wheel if it's heading straight for one of these large potholes. That is like seeming to be Tesla's full self-driving demise right there, is going straight for potholes and then denting my rims. One of the worst things that could happen. This interchange here, or I guess this merge onto 95, can be a little difficult. Oh, look, they actually repaved this entire thing recently, which is nice. I usually avoid this interchange getting on a 95 back through the toll. I'll usually drive straight and then jump off a 76 from there and then kind of go over the bridge and get onto 95 around that way. It's kind of equidistant, but that way you can hit a Wawa or a supercharger if you want to. And I know that this area right here runs out of merge room pretty quickly. Now, luckily, there is absolutely nobody on the road behind us, so the car's able to jump over nice and quick. It'll then put us into the middle lane. We are on the hurry speed profile with a maximum speed of 85, and check this out. It's getting us all the way over to the left side. So that was a nice merge, had plenty of time to get over. I always feel like whenever I'm doing something with full self-driving, I want to give it the best challenge possible, and so it always breaks my heart when I get to an area where I think it's going to face a challenge, and then there's no cars, or there's no people, or there's just nothing that actually poses any sort of issue. So right now we're on 95. This should be pretty much smooth sailing heading down the rest of the way. Highway driving has kind of been a touch and go subject that I've mentioned in some of my previous videos using full self-driving. When you've got full self-driving and when you've got auto steer, they're kind of the same. Like right now, what we're doing on the highway, you could do the same thing with full self-driving or with auto steer. It's going to keep you in the lane. It's going to obviously make sure you don't run into the car in front of you, so it's going to adjust your speed. But for me, like, I would almost rather use auto steer because the speed is a lot faster. The speed is a little bit more reliable. And I also believe that it can keep you in the lane a little bit more straight. With that said, some of the previous versions of 12.6 full self-driving has drifted the entire car over to the side. I don't have any footage of it because a lot of the full self-driving I've been doing recently has been at nighttime, and I really just don't usually record videos at night because the camera quality is not all that good. But I always felt like the car was hugging that left line, and when I'd switch into auto steer, it kept me right in the middle. Now I can say right now regarding our speed, we've got a nice open lane to the right. I've got people piling up behind me. There's really not all that much. I mean, there's a ton of room in front of me here. I should probably be speeding up. You just had a car pass me on the right side. Here's another car passing me on the right side. So this is just a common issue that I always bring up. It's the speed and awareness of the vehicle while you're here on the highway, no matter what highway it is. I just find the car doesn't understand where it should be and doesn't understand the speed that it should drive. Another thing I always mention, I feel like I'm blue in the face saying it when I talk here on these videos, and probably you're annoyed and sick of hearing it, is the way that people drive in Philadelphia. I mean, it's like every man for themselves out here. They drive way too fast. They are all over the road. So it can kind of be difficult for a car like a Tesla that has this full self-driving software that's still learning to adapt in an environment like this, because it moves a little bit slower than, let's say, the average Philadelphia driver would. Now, we're moving here at a pretty good speed. I mean, 67 miles an hour. We're pretty much keeping the pace of traffic here. I would definitely prefer a little bit of a faster drive. I think that as we get off the bridge here and as we kind of loop around this turn, the road will be 4 lanes across, and it'll also speed up a little bit because it won't be as windy, and of course we're not going over a bridge, so hopefully the car will do its best to pick up its speed. However, when I'm doing a drive at 85 miles, or when I have my hurry speed set to 85 miles an hour, it never will actually reach the 85 mile an hour mark, which can be kind of annoying. Now, in a scenario like this, we've got this car directly to our left. I would love for the car to step on it and get in front of this person. I mean, this right here to the left is the person that I try to avoid being when I'm in the left-hand lane of just clogging up and gumming up the works. So now here, we're switching over to 4 lanes. Now that person, of course, is going to pick up their speed. Just to kind of prove here, I am on 85 max. And you just kind of wish that being in the hurry profile would, it would give the car a little bit more balls to drive a little bit faster and be a little bit more aggressive. I do have to say, though, that, with recent versions of full self-driving, the hurry mode is definitely the most aggressive driving style that I've seen from all the different versions and all the different updates. So it's slowly but surely getting there. I think that we just need more time. I think that there's just more time that is needed for the car to get better with full self-driving. So we do have an interchange coming up here, getting off onto 476, and it's really nothing more than the highway splitting off. This here is where 476 kind of begins, where it kind of starts. So we're not going to have any sort of difficult merge whatsoever, but we will be kind of getting onto the highway. One lane ends, the other lane from 95 north is jumping on around from the other side, so it can be a little bit hectic at times, although I think right now, middle of the day on a Saturday is probably not going to be all that bad. Now, if you look here on the screen, you can see the car is substantially hugging that left line, but it only seems to be doing it when it's actually making a turn. Now, I can understand why the car might stay a little bit on the left-hand line when making a turn. It might be anticipating for other vehicles in the other lanes that might be going and being a little bit closer to my line as they make that same turn as well. So it's hard to think or it's hard to understand whether the car is doing that on purpose or whether the car is doing that because of some sort of bug or some sort of thing in the software. Now, here's a good example of the slow speed. We're doing 73. There's a couple of cars coming up behind me. The right lane is pretty open. In front of me, the lane is entirely open. There's really no excuse for the vehicle not doing the maximum speed that I wanted to do of 85 miles an hour. Now, if we flipped off full self-driving and if we put on auto steer, it would get up to 85 immediately. It would go as fast as I wanted the car to go, catch up to the vehicle in front of me, and then drive at that speed. But now there is so much room for people behind me to get pissed off, people to start ride the back of my car, people to get in the right-hand lane and just full on pass me. We're slowly creeping up here. We've got 75. I do sometimes try and give the car a little bit of gas. I say gas as I hit the electric accelerator. I try to give it a little bit of acceleration to let it know, like, hey, it's fine to go a little bit faster, and it'll pin it at 85 for a couple of seconds and then slowly creep down and slowly creep off of it. Now, I do have my max speed offset in autopilot to plus 50%. We could go down to 0% and look at this. Now, we are totally going down. So basically, this means that whatever the speed limit, there we are, yeah. This pretty much totally means that whatever, I'm going to hit the gas a little bit so people aren't pissed off. Basically, whatever the speed limit is, it's going to offset that by a certain percentage. So, for example, if you're at plus 0%, that means that the car is going to do the speed limit at all times, basically no matter what. The higher you put that limit, the higher you put that offset, the faster it's going to be, the faster it is going to go over the speed limit, which in this case, I mean, nobody is driving 55 on 95 in Philly. It's just not happening. So the max speed limit is definitely going to creep up from there. Now, there are drives like this, though, where when I jump on the road, I think to myself that full self-driving is close to being ready. Full self-driving is close to being unsupervised, in my opinion. I mean, you look at everything that we've done from coming over the bridge to going through the toll booth to getting onto the highway, to driving where we're at right now. For me, the speed is only a concern because I'm here behind the wheel. I'm used to going a certain speed when I'm driving, and I can't be like on my phone. I can't be on my computer. If somebody else was driving, meaning in this case my car was driving, I wouldn't mind how fast we were going if I could be on my phone and doing other things. But when I'm getting somewhere and I'm trying to meet somebody and I'm in the car, not able to do anything other than just watch it drive me, that's when I get a little bit upset about the speed. Now, in a different scenario, like let's say there's a future where my car is able to go and pick somebody up from the airport for me. Let's say I've got a friend landing and, I'm at home and they're staying with me and I want to pick them up from the airport. I send my car to go grab them instead of actually being in the car to pick them up. Or let's say it's a scenario where I have a friend that wants to come over and they don't have a car and I send my car to go get them. I mean, just imagine this future where you can dispatch your vehicle to do something for you and then come back to you with a person or with a thing or anything like that. I probably would rather the car drive the way that it is right now, being a little bit more, I would say cautious, right? But again, when I'm in the car and when I'm driving and I can't do anything, that's a scenario where, I wanted to pick up the pace a little bit. Now, in this scenario right here, you've got two lanes going to 95, continuing on south. You've got these two lanes jumping off on 476. And I'll say that during rush hour, this is a madhouse. This is like every man for themselves when it is past 3 o'clock, on any weekday. These two lanes here on the left that are going 95 south are usually insanely backed up, while these lanes jumping onto 476 north really are, I would say moving pretty well. Now, we've got a turn signal on here, and I don't think we need a turn signal on here. And the car does that very often. It puts the turn signal on when no turn signal is needed. I'm in a lane where all you can do is drive straight to get onto 476. And I can understand when you look at, what the directions say, and it says veer to the right, it's going to put on its turn signal. But in that situation, there's definitely no need. Now, we do have this lane ending, so we're going to have to get over. And then another lane, if you can see it with that bridge coming up over there, that lane is going to continue, and that's coming from 95 north. So we're going to have to merge here, and it looks like it's probably going to try to get in right behind this Nissan. And this is a scenario right here where I would love for the car to be able to read signs like lane ends. Lane ends. Unless it has some sort of memory from other cars that have driven in this area, it's not going to know that this lane is ending and we are now going to be directly next to this Nissan, which is going to put the car in a really tough situation. Like the lane is ending right here. It is going to have to slam on its brakes to get behind the Nissan. And that's just such a bonehead move. Like, that's somebody, if they were driving, that just doesn't know what they're doing. So, therefore, Tesla Full Self Driving doesn't know what it's doing. So, therefore, like, if it was able to read that sign, lane ends, it would make that initial merge behind the car instead of waiting to the very last second. Could you imagine in the scenario, like I mentioned, where it is wall-to-wall traffic, rush hour time, there's a car directly behind the Nissan? What does the car do? It's going to slam on its brakes. It's not going to be good. So, just like I said, we have these times where I can see Full Self-Driving is ready to go. I would not mind jumping on my phone and sending it somewhere to do something all by itself with no human intervention. But then there's times like that where it makes me remember, wow, there is still a lot of work to do for very specific scenarios. And it's kind of surprising that the car isn't able to read more signs at this point and better understand things that are happening. You look on the display here, you look at the Full Self-Driving visualization, and you see all the cars, you see some of the signs, you see the traffic lights, you see what I would say are the most vital pieces of road information. But there are things that are very important that could lead to catastrophic failures with Full Self-Driving if it isn't careful, just like we witnessed right there where the lane is ending and it doesn't know. I'm also surprised that with all of the memory that the car has, that it doesn't just make the move based off of whatever cars have done. Like, why hasn't it bookmarked that area to know, hey, we shouldn't be in the left-hand lane because it's going to end very abruptly? So this is pretty much the end of our highway driving. I would say it's good. I mean, people have had complaints on 12.6 that the car is hugging the left-hand lane. I've witnessed it firsthand, and as I've updated to 12.6.3 at first, and then I'm on 12.6.3 again here, I don't see that happening at all. So, I would say that in terms of what we have here with highway driving, it's good. It does the job, but it needs to have better awareness. It needs to be able to drive a little bit faster, dependent upon how fast I want it to drive, especially when we're in the hurry setting. And then I also think that it needs to be better at reading some of these road signs because it's difficult. So we're jumping off here, making a right. We've got a yield here. So this is going to be a situation where we come around the corner. Hopefully it waits for an open area and then goes and pulls out. This is a scenario where I love to have the 360 camera. Oh, you know what? It's not a yield. It's going to give us our own lane. Nice little merge there. Again, this is a time where I would love there to be cars in the way so that the car has to make some sort of move to actually merge. But we had a nice open area there, so the car was able to get onto this road super easy. Now, we've got to make a left-hand turn up here, so it was nice that the car just went and got us right in the left-hand lane when it was time. It is slowing down a little bit slower than I'd want it to go. I mean, we're doing 35 miles an hour here. I wonder if it is looking at other cars around me and trying to determine the speed that it should go. I'm technically in the left-hand lane here on a road that, we should probably be driving a little bit faster on, not 6 miles an hour under the posted speed limit. We are going to make a left-hand turn here. Wow, that came insanely close to the curb. That is like, I think to myself about like my next car, and I think about like, I've had the Model Y for like 4 years, had the Model Y at first, got rear-ended, totaled that car, got the same exact car, literally Model Y Performance in black. And after 4 years, I kind of want something different, would love a truck. Cybertruck is definitely something that is calling my name. And just for like how bad the roads are here in Philly and the surrounding areas, would love to have a truck. Like, I do photography and videography, and I carry a lot of gear with me, so having a truck would be great to carry all of that gear. I work with a lot of construction companies, so going onto a construction site with a truck would be great, would be much better than my Model Y with the performance wheels. But I also think about just everyday driving, all the potholes, all the craters, all of the terrible roads. Man, it would be nice to have a truck in those scenarios as well. Now, as we get outside of the city here, these roads are like every man for themselves. These roads were designed, developed, and built over 100 years ago, right? This is like back when horses were riding around, when trails were kind of based off of, where people had their homes located. So all of these roads are so windy, so hilly. There really isn't a rhyme or reason to how all these roads are developed. You can even just look at the map here, like you zoom out, and it is just totally hectic here. So with that said, I always find it very interesting. Nice merge there. I always find it very interesting to see how the car drives, how it handles, because this, again, is very interesting and very intricate. Now, we're finally doing a little bit over the speed limit here, doing 43. I always find that the distance it keeps between me and the car in front of me is so huge. In a scenario like this, like where the cars are kind of not slamming on their brakes but coming to a stop, it does make my stop nice and smooth, so it's very comfortable on the drive. But I'll tell you what, when you're in a scenario where you're on 2 lanes, that gives somebody so much time to just jump in front of the car, jump in front of your car on the road. So guys, we've got about a half a mile left here on the drive, about 2 more minutes. I would give it, what grade would I give it? A B+. A B+. And I think it would be probably a little bit worse had it not been for the toll. Like, going through the toll made this drive so much crazier than I anticipated. And I'm happy we started off with this because, God forbid, it's at the end of the video. I feel like people aren't going to sit here and watch 20-minute long videos. But I have to say that toll right off the bat really was impressive. Man, this car is just driving so slow right now. I mean, I get it. It's a 25. There's a train track. It's a curvy road. But, man, the speed of the car is just something that always kills me. So, yeah, I would give it like a B+. I would say overall it did good. I would say that in this scenario, I didn't have to intervene at all, so would I have trusted it to drive entirely by itself with no human? Yeah, I would have. Again, a scenario where I wish there were cars oncoming, but the car had a nice cakewalk there. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this video, can't believe you sat through a full 20-minute long full self-driving video. But again, can't thank you enough. Let me know your thoughts on full self-driving. What version are you on? What hardware do you have? I mentioned it in the title, but I didn't mention it in the actual video. I'm on hardware 3 here, so that's what I've been running. And hey, I've got to say, did a pretty good job, especially on that toll. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.